I'm Adrian Seet and you are watching Nightline. The top stories. Issues related to rising cost of living expected to be the main agenda on Monday. And Indonesia's Mount Semeru erupts, forcing thousands to flee. Thanks for staying with us. The cabinet meeting scheduled for Monday is expected to focus specifically on dealing with the issue of the rising cost of living. Digital Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil said the matter is expected to be the main agenda for the meeting based on several statements made by the Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim recently. Fahmi said it is also expected that cabinet members will be instructed to give a special focus on subsidies for the people.
Perdana Menteri telah bertemu ataupun bermesyuarat dengan NAKOL, Majlis Tindakan mengenai kos sara hidup, dan NAKOL dan juga agensi-agensi yang berkaitan, kementerian-kementerian yang berkaitan telah diberikan masa 2 minggu, maksudnya minggu depan. Satu rangka ataupun kerangka penyelesaian perlu dibawa ke depan.
He said it is expected that several other matters will also be touched on, particularly on the issue of salaries and the accepting of gifts. On Friday, Dato Sri Anwar was reported as saying that his main priority after announcing the cabinet and ministerial lineup would be to call up those who have been appointed for a special meeting on Monday to announce a few new rules. Amongst others, he said the meeting would talk about the way the cabinet members should manage their respective ministries, on how to work together with civil servants, how to make media announcements, and how not to waste government funds. Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said Perikatan Nasional PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has shown disrespect to the institution of the Malay rulers by disputing all appointment process involving the unity government. The Deputy Prime Minister said Tan Sri Muhyiddin and his allies should be embarrassed of themselves for being seen as power crazy to the extent of disputing the decision of the Malay rulers. In a Facebook posting, Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid said Tan Sri Muhyiddin should emulate the DAP, which is more concerned about the country's interests rather than parties or individuals, by moving forward to succeed in the unity government as proposed by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. The Barisan Nasional BN chief said Tan Sri Muhyiddin needs to respect these appointments, and disputing them is relative of the true face of Tan Sri Muhyiddin and his allies who do not respect the royal institution. The Bagan Dato MP reminded the PN chief that the current government formed is not a Pakatan Harapan PH government, but a unity government based on cooperation between the largest party and other smaller parties that had secured seats in the election. He added that the Bersatu president was being short-sighted in criticizing Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim for holding the finance portfolio when the latter had managed the country's economy successfully in the past. In other news, Kedah BN Communications Director Dato Syaiful Hazizi Zainul Abidin has slammed Dato Sri Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor, urging the Kedah Menteri Besar to stop questioning the legitimacy and to accept the formation of the unity government led by Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Dato Syaiful Hazizi said Dato Sri Sanusi's statement that an alleged Malay tsunami had occurred in the 15th general election cannot be used as an excuse to criticize the formation of the cabinet, as more than 20 appointed ministers are of the race.
Saranan saya kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Sanusi Muhammad Noor, Menteri Besar Kedah, supaya beliau tidak mempertikaikan benda-benda yang tidak sewajarnya, terutamanya tentang pembentukan kabinet dan kerajaan yang dikatakan beliau ini sebagai sebuah kerajaan dan kabinet luar tadi. Dia perlu faham bahawa kabinet ini dan kerajaan ini telah pun dinilai dan juga dipersetujui oleh ke bawah duli Yang Maha Mulia yang di-Pertuan Agong.
Dato Syaiful also reminded Dato Sri Sanusi to focus on cleaning up the heart of the PN leaders, especially those who keep on harping on DAP and Islamophobia. Restoring investors' confidence and increasing foreign direct investments, FDIs, are amongst the top priorities for the International Trade and Industry Minister, Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz. Two other things topping his list were to ensure that trade remained a robust key growth driver to sustain the country's economic growth momentum and to look at the various bilateral and multilateral trade agreements. In a statement, Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul said, as the global economy is expected to slow down in 2023, his top three priorities as the International Trade and Industry Minister are, firstly, to ensure that trade remains a robust key growth driver to sustain the nation's economic growth momentum. Secondly, he said Malaysia must restore investors' confidence and increase FDI, which has long been a key building block of economic resilience, providing the nation with one of the largest sources of foreign exchange. And thirdly, there is a need to look at the various bilateral and multilateral trade agreements to ensure that their formulation and/or implementation will be of real value and advantage to participants in the Malaysian supply chain, particularly the micro, small and medium enterprises. He gave his assurances that his ministry would continue to be the focal point in making Malaysia a preferred investment destination and amongst the most globally competitive trading nations. He said even though the 2023 budget will be tabled again in Parliament, his ministry would propose the creation of a special investment fund to attract more high value-added investments that would generate higher-paid professional employment opportunities. The International Trade and Industry Minister also said that he would soon engage with stakeholders of Malaysian trade, both domestically and internationally, to ensure that we maintain or improve our competitive, business-focused trade ecosystem. The Sarawak State Government has proposed that a state trust fund be established under the Finance Ministry to regulate federal government funds and projects approved for Sarawak. Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said the move would provide a channel for the federal government to allocate funds to the state in a more systematic manner. Tan Sri Abang Johari had discussed the proposed new approach with Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim during a meeting in the capital on Saturday. He said the Prime Minister has agreed in principle to review the federal-funded development projects in Sarawak.
Bermakna kalau Sarawak mempunyai 4 bilion pembangunan daripada kerajaan pusat, maka 4 bilion itu akan diletakkan di bawah satu trust fund di Sarawak. Dan juga pelaksanaannya kalau boleh ditentukan di Sarawak di bawah Kementerian Keuangan Malaysia. Ini adalah satu pendekatan yang agak baru, tetapi frameworknya akan ditentukan oleh jawatankuasa di antara Kementerian Keuangan dan juga di bawah Perdana Menteri sendiri.
He said this to the media after opening the Sarawak Badminton Association Hall and officiating the Abang Jo Cup 2022 in Kuching on Sunday. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Abang Johari, who is also Gabongan Parti Sarawak GPS chairman, said the appointment of Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof as Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister was most appropriate and will surely boost the plantation sector. This, he said, considering that Sarawak is expected to become the country's largest producer of palm oil in the next 2 years. In addition, he said the appointment of 5 federal ministers from Sarawak in the National Unity Government shows the caring attitude of the federal government towards efforts to further develop the state. A caucus comprising 24 Johor Barisan Nasional BN and Pakatan Harapan PH members of parliament will be established to ensure continuous prosperity in the state. Johor BN chairman Datuk Sri Hasni Mohamad said the proposed caucus, mooted by state opposition leader Liu Chin Tong, was a good idea to ensure that the state continued to gain development benefits from the unity government. Datuk Sri Hasni, who is also the Simpang Renggam MP, said a discussion on the matter would be held after the swearing-in of MPs at the Dewan Rakyat on December the 19th. He said generally there are a lot of issues in Johor that need a special attention from the federal government, especially the upgrading of highways, attracting investors to Johor, and upgrading the existing facilities as its international entry points involving the ferry terminal. Such issues, according to the state BN chief, needs strong cooperation between the federal and state governments. With the caucus, he said more development could be brought into Johor and at the same time prevent them from being left behind in the development agenda. Liu, who is also Perling Assemblyman and Iskandar Puteri MP, said the establishment of the caucus was vital in ensuring that development in the state continues. According to Liu, the caucus will help the Johor government go through briefings and information sharing so that all the MPs are given detailed reports on the needs and demands of the state government to the federal government. He said the mechanism would allow Johor to be given the focus and priority by the unity government for the benefit of the development and progress of Bangsa Johor as well as the state budget.
Malaysians have spoken in GE15. What follows is the anticipation for the appointment of Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister.
Oleh kerana ada hang parlimen, maka kita ambil lebih masa sedikit.
Mereka ini penentu kepada keputusan pilihan raya.
Tune into 119 jam menuju ke Putrajaya, only on TV3.
Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said he was looking forward to working with his Thai counterpart Prayut Chan-o-cha to further advance the deep and long-standing bilateral relations between Malaysia and Thailand. Dato Sri Anwar was responding to the congratulatory message from Prayut on his appointment as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister on Facebook. Prayut, in his note, said he was looking forward to working closely to further enhance bilateral relations, including cooperation at the regional and international levels. In February, Malaysia and Thailand reaffirmed their commitment to promote a bilateral trade and investment, working closely to achieve the bilateral trade target of $30 billion by 2025. Bursa Malaysia is likely to trend higher from Monday to retest the 1,500 mark on improved sentiment despite the regional market volatility. According to Rakuten Trade Sdn Bhd Vice President of Equity Research, Tong Pak Ling, the FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI FBM KLCI is expected to trend within the 1,480 to 1,510 range. Thong said that from a technical point of view, the immediate resistance is spotted at 1,500, followed by 1,530, while support is at 1,470. Meanwhile, Malacca Securities Sdn Bhd senior analyst Kenneth Leong said the focus will shift onto the tentative release of the local retail sales and industrial production data this coming Friday, as well as the announcement of a special meeting of Parliament in order to proceed with the retabling of the 2023 budget. Leong said technically the FBMKLCI will remain sideways, with a trading range of between 1,465 and 1,500. For the holiday-shortened trading week just ended, the benchmark FBMKLCI moved in choppy trading. The market was closed on Monday, November 28th, in conjunction with the special public holiday announced by the 10th Prime Minister, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim. The FBMKLCI was lower on Tuesday on profit-taking, dragged down by negative global sentiment as protests over China's strict COVID-19 restriction stoked worries over the global financial recovery. The market then rebounded to end higher on Wednesday and Thursday on bargain hunting before turning downbeat on Friday as investors' sentiments turned cautious ahead of the upcoming announcement on the new cabinet lineup. Sector-wise, the Industrial Products and Services Index slid 3.54 points to 181.82. The Plantation Index eased 9.3 points to 6,807.85. The financial services index dipped 252.74 points to 16,446.42, while the energy index climbed 41.02 points to 800.11. Weekly turnover shrank to 15.39 billion units, worth 12.23 billion ringgit, from 22.82 billion units, worth 13.19 billion ringgit in the previous week. Several states across the country are forecasted to experience thunderstorms and rain until Monday night. National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, said Met Malaysia forecasted thunderstorms in several places in Pahang, Sarawak and Sabah. In a statement on Sunday, Met Malaysia said Perlis, Pulau Pinang, Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Malacca are expected to experience rain. On Monday morning, thunderstorms were expected in Malacca, while Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, Johor, Perak, Negeri Sembilan and Sabah are to expect to rain. Thunderstorms were also expected to hit Pahang, Labuan and several areas in Perak and other states on Monday night. Hawaii's Mauna Loa's lava flow advanced towards major highways. Details when we return. To the foreign front. Mount Semeru, Indonesia's highest volcano on its most densely populated island, erupted early on Sunday, spewing a column of ash 15 kilometers into the air and sparking the evacuation of nearly 2,000 people as they issued their highest warning for the area. Indonesia's Disaster Mitigation Agency said 1,979 people had been moved to 11 shelters and authorities had distributed masks to residents. There were no immediate reports of any casualties after the eruption, but authorities have warned nearby residents not to travel within 8 kilometers of the crater, adding that hot ash clouds had reached as far as 19 kilometers from the center of eruption. The eruption on the eastern part of Java, some 640 kilometers east of the capital Jakarta, follows a series of earthquakes on the west of the island, including one last month that killed more than 300 people. In other news, people on the Big Island of Hawaii are bracing for major upheaval if the lava from the Mauna Loa volcano slides across a key highway and blocks the quickest route connecting the two sides of the island. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the flow front was about 2.4 miles from the Daniel K. Inouye Highway as of Saturday afternoon. During the past 24 hours, the lava's advance from Mauna Loa slowed to an average rate of about 40 feet per hour, but has remained active since the volcano first erupted days ago. Officials said if the main highway is cut off, traffic will be forced onto coastal roads, crowding them and adding hours onto a trip from Hilo, the largest city on the Big Island, to Kona, a tourist magnet, which takes just 90 minutes on the Daniel K. Inouye Highway. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol on Sunday ordered preparations for widening a back-to-work order beyond the cement industry amid a prolonged truckers' strike. Yoon, a conservative, on Tuesday invoked a begin-to-work order, the first in the country's history, on 2,500 drivers in the cement industry, requiring them to return to the road or face penalties. He also called for punishment of those violating laws during the strike, ordering ministers to take action to minimize damage, such as employing alternative drivers, military personnel and military equipment. The government has said it would not expand a minimum pay system for truckers beyond a further 3 years, which the union says it should be permanent and wider in scope. Thousands of South Korean truckers have been on strike for more than 10 days, with negotiators for the government and unions making no progress on disagreements over minimum pay rules. Sports football, the 2022 World Cup. Lionel Messi scored on his 1,000th career appearance in Argentina's 2-1 win over Australia at the World Cup on Saturday to surpass his great predecessor, Diego Maradona's tournament total, and set up a quarter-final clash with the Netherlands. Seeking a first World Cup at his 5th attempt, the mesmerizing Messi curled the ball though, past goalkeeper Matt Ryan from inside the area in the 35th minute to send the legions of Argentine fans into delirium at the Ahmad bin Ali Stadium. Julian Alvarez backed Argentina's second from close range in the 57th minute after fatal hesitation from Ryan with the ball at his feet following a back pass. Australia, who did superbly to reach the last 16 and are ranked 35 places below the double World Cup winners, defended valiantly, with the towering Perry Suter prominent. It set up a nervy end after Craig Goodwin's shot was deflected into the net of Enzo Fernandez for an own goal in the 77th minute. The 35-year-old Messi's goal was his 3rd in the Qatar tournament and his 9th at World Cups, one more than Maradona. Meanwhile, the Netherlands became the first country into the World Cup quarter-finals as they beat the United States 3-1 at the Khalifa International Stadium. Louis van Gaal's Dutch side grabbed the lead with their first attack when a slick move ended with Denzel Dumfries cutting a perfect pass back for Barcelona forward Memphis Depay to stroke home. Dumfries then played a carbon-copy ball for Daley Blind to make it 2-0 and put his side in cruise control. Substitute Haji Wright scrambled in a reply for the United States in the 76th minute to give the Americans hope, but Dumfries' volley sealed a 7th quarter-final appearance for the Dutch. Motorists killed, 2 hurt in 2-vehicle accident in Kluang. This and more after this short break. back. In Johor, a 42-year-old woman was killed after her car collided with another vehicle at Jalan Kahang Barat, Kluang on Sunday. Kluang District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Bahrin Muhammad Noor said the accident occurred at 1:30 p.m. when the victim, Nur Sahidah Ramdan, was heading to Felda Kahang Barat from Jalan Padang Tembak. He said the victim lost control of her vehicle and collided with the other vehicle on the opposite lane. The driver of the other vehicle was identified as 29-year-old Siti Aisyah Abdullah, who was travelling with her mother, 70-year-old Fatimah Abu Bakar. The duo suffered serious head injuries and were being treated at Hospital Kluang, while Nur Sahidah died at the scene. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act 1987. Malaysian fugitive businessman Teddy Tiao is expected to be deported to China before the end of this month. Thai Assistant National Police Chief Pol Lieutenant General Surachat Hakpan said Thai police had received the extradition request from the Chinese government. The 55-year-old Pulau Pinang-born entrepreneur, who is the MBI Group founder, is on the Interpol Red Notice list for questioning. In 2017, Malaysian authorities had frozen a total of 91 bank accounts with 177 million ringgit linked to MBI International. On July 22nd, Tiao fell under Thai Immigration Police custody after his visa was revoked and has since been awaiting deportation by the Thai authorities. On July 25th, the Royal Malaysia Police said it was in the process of applying for Tiao to be repatriated to Malaysia to assist in investigations under Section 420 of the Penal Code for cheating. Beijing police also reportedly wanted him for questioning, following a suit filed by about 400 investors from China to recover their investments worth some 100 million ringgit. Freezing cold does not stop Siberians from swimming in ice water. Calling themselves walruses, these people believe that cold water swimming is the most effective way of staying healthy during severely cold Siberian winters. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.